automated now as well. You have to like put the check in the machine. Ram it in like, come on! You've got to be in it to win it. I'm just glad that we have.
Did you see that? Did you see that? Did you see that car that was copying Nigel just then? Well, that's because it was Nigel. And yes, after, you won't believe it, but after my advertisement of Nigel at £83,000, a motoring journalist has come along and bought it. And he's taken it away, as you can see. It's a sad moment, but you know, at least I'm rich now. Look at my little colourful friend.
Otherwise, we won't know who you mean.
Yeah. They're having a really good farewell tour, it would seem.
Pointless, wasn't it?
Drinking Carver.
I've decided to spend my Saturday stuck in traffic on the M60. Like all of these other good people, it's a day out, isn't it? Yeah. You know, what should we do? You consider all of the things that you have a choice that you can do, and you end up choice. Choice does not help you make decisions. Choice makes decision making more difficult. You wake up in the morning and you have all these different things that you could possibly do, and because there are so many things, you end up choosing to do none. So one of them, spend an hour on the M60 in a traffic jam, is just as good as the rest. Oh, what a sarcastic comment you made there. Well, why else would you be doing it? Where they're going to? The Trafford Centre? IKEA? People don't work as much on a Saturday as they do the rest of the time. And these, what I see here, are passenger cars. Private passenger cars, not lorries and vans. The exception of that truck and that van, and that truck there, and that van over there, and that van, and that grey van that's just gone by, and the tanker that's in front of us. All these are basically people out on the motorway in the jam by choice. But look, oh, hang on. I've just been to Trafford Park. No, I've just been to Old Trafford and spent some time outside the Coronation Street building with Steve and a true car of the people, which is the 1990s Mark III Vauxhall Astra, a favourite of many Britons at the time. But I was hoping this wouldn't happen on the way back. I was hoping to enjoy some proper motorway mile munching in the Peugeot. And my dear car, Nigel, my lovely, fluffy little car, is being borrowed at the moment by Steve because he's somewhat without a car. And I could have lent him this, or I could have lent him the silver one. But I thought, no, you can drive, Nigel. You have stuff to do. You have meetings with other show busy type people. I think you should turn up in a car that's designed to draw attention to itself and make you feel slightly embarrassed. Do you know what? He's not mentioned feeling embarrassed at all driving it, which is weird. I guess you could say it's another extension of the publicity stunt that I started pretending it was for sale. But not that that really got a great deal of traffic towards the channel. Not like I was hoping it would do. No. And in fact, actually, what has happened is for the first couple of days, I had a few replies on the adverts. Most people, of course, understand that it's, you know, a joke. A joke, yeah. But there are just a few that didn't. It's embarrassing, isn't it? When you don't realise something is a joke and you react in such a way where you think you're being smart. I think cars are a bit like dogs, because for me, you know, dog behaves. When I'm not in the house, dog misbehaves ever so slightly. That's a bit worrying because it means that I'm somewhat trapped in the house sometimes by the doggy's behaviour. But the car as well. I never really had problems with cars particularly. They just seem to work. Maybe I notice anything that's going to go wrong just before it does and take some sort of action. And Nigel has always been good to me, always been a very good car to me. But for Steve, it's decided that it doesn't. Maybe Nigel just wants to come home. Let me tell you about something that I'm actually really rather good at, even though you wouldn't imagine it. And that is fasting. Yeah, going without food for long periods of time. Probably because I've got enough on me to sustain me, but I always used to do it, not because I wanted to do. In my 20s and 30s, I'd go great periods of time without anything to eat. And when I say great periods of time, I mean, 13 hours. And 10 of those could possibly be asleep. But I do find that I can be really hungry, but as long as I can completely forget about it, I can ignore it. And that's what I've done today. I've had nothing to eat since about 9 o'clock yesterday. So that is, 28 hours. 16 hours without anything to eat. I do that almost every day. And now I want to go home and have about almost a full packet of bacon and about 5 eggs. Wilma. Wilma. Todmorden. This is Todmorden. Yeah, Morrison's in Todmorden. You can tell it's Morrison's because it says Morrison's on that sign there. It says kindness on the hillside. I think it's fair to say that I had quite a nice lunch when I got in, with 5 eggs and about 5 pieces of bacon before going off over to Hebden Bridge, where this little creature here called Wilma had a lovely good run around. Didn't you? Sad face. We're making sure your trolley is clean and ready to roll. Pride in hygiene. Well, have these guys done it? They've had to stop their ploughing. They've had to stop their important tractor work to go and clean your trolley for you. And look at the state of them. I bet they had to get cleaned up first. They would have had to clean those wellies up, go wandering off into Todmorden, clean up the trolleys, and then come back to their tractor to carry on doing what they were doing. Sometimes it's not always such a good idea to insist that a particular worker might really enjoy their job. Yeah, well, I'm just obnoxious. I'm just awkward. I've said before I'm awkward. If I had a job in a shop and I had to have a name badge on where it said happy to help, I'd hate it. I hate the idea of somebody coming up to me and saying, oh, apparently you're happy to help. Could you help me do this? Especially if it's something that, I really should be not helping with. I mean, look at that man's expression there. Look at the look of disdain of having to wipe clean somebody's trolley because they can't be bothered to do it himself. That man's agreeing, but he's happy to see his colleague go off and do something that he shouldn't really need to do. Well, if you left the key in the ignition, by the way, I'd take that with you before you go off on trolley cleaning duties. See that sign there? Warning, do not climb on the hillside. Presumably, somebody has been climbing up there, and Morrison's or whoever owns the land isn't particularly happy about it, or somebody got hurt, or Morrison's have lost some money out of it. Basically, Jed came to Morrison's to buy a tin of beans and a loaf of bread and some milk and maybe a beer for his wife. And he saw that hillside and thought, oh gosh, I fancy a little climb up there. And off he went, exploring the woods, having a jolly good time. By the time he'd come back down, he'd forgotten what he'd come down here for. and he remembered the beans and the bread, but he forgot the beer for his wife, and she complained to Morrison's because she's a woman, and they put that sign up because of that. Look over there, there's a Persia with a registration plate that reads dumb. Why would you do that? Anyway, why does it have to be a warning? Why can't it just say, do not climb up the hillside? Please don't climb up the hillside. You go into detail. Say it's ill-advised to climb up this hillside because you could fall and hurt yourself, and we don't sell plasters here. Why does it have to be a warning? It's like a threat, isn't it? You know, warning, if you climb up this hillside, somebody's going to pay. It'll be you, because we're fed up of pain. Ooh.
Slimy.
It's been really weird seeing another man drive away in my car for not just one night, but a few nights a week. And Steve said to me, "Oh, I'll give it a wash, actually." And no, don't. Never wash another man's car. No, you don't wash another man's car unless you're asked to do so. We can be very protective. We know how to wash our car. You don't have somebody else doing it. However, in the meantime, it's got rather filthy. And as I saw Nigel drive away in Stretford, it made me think of that scene in Superman. If you're familiar, where Superman turns into a bad guy, and instead of his blue and red brightness, it had this kind of dingy blue and red. It was still blue and red, but it was no longer vivid. It was like that. All supermarkets these days have signs up saying parking is restricted to 2 hours or even 3 in some cases. And it always makes me wonder, well, how could you possibly ever need any longer than that to do your shopping? But then, you sit in the car and wait for your wife to go and do the shopping, and you find out how that's possible. It's strange, isn't it? When you buy some sausages and you see the checkout person handle your sausages,